Hey everyone, it's Joe Jacobi here, go2greentv.com. Today's report brought to you by Southern Hearth and Patio on the web at southernhearth.com. And today I've got a special visitor to Chattanooga. Brad Herzog and his family are traveling the country in a motorhome, in an RV, which I love. It's a beautiful vehicle that runs on an electric hybrid chassis. How cool is that?
It's very cool. It's cutting edge. It's the only one in existence. This one right here, pretty much, is the only one on the road. It's a Winnebago Adventurer hybrid RV. So there's a diesel engine that runs on a diesel engine and an electric motor, and they work in conjunction to optimally power the vehicle depending on the driving conditions.
Now, there are a couple things I love about this story and this vehicle. First and foremost, in the world of green, most people don't think about RVs and green. I mean, this is a great way to kind of connect a dot that really hasn't been connected before.
Yeah, and I think that's unfortunate because I actually have an acronym that I created called Green RV that talks about all the different aspects of sort of eco-friendly lessons that you learn when you're in an RV. G is we're going mobile. And by that I mean we leave our bigger house for a much smaller square footage. And there's less resources needed to, for example, air condition that square footage.
Right.
And 2/3 of RVers, when they leave their homes and hit the road, they turn off all the utilities, as we did. And that's good. And then we're respecting the environment. We're teaching our kids about the natural wonders as we travel around. Everything's energy efficient in this RV. We're often eating locally, farmers markets, for example, which is good for the environment. We're not sleeping in hotel rooms and renting cars and taking airplanes, a typical vacation, which is, studies have shown it's about twice the carbon footprint of this vacation. And we're reducing, reusing, and recycling quite a bit, and you're very cognizant of the resources you use because you're in this confined space. So in general, I think RVing does teach a lot of eco-friendly lessons, but this hybrid RV is sort of the next step toward that.
Now, this is the second part of it, and you alluded to it in the GREEN RV acronym.
Okay.
You're here with your family. You're sharing this with your kids. You're really teaching them a great life lesson by doing something.
Well, not by both driving a hybrid RV, and for example, we've been collecting all our whatever plastic bottles we use, and we've been saving them in our storage until we find a place to recycle them. Which you
can do here in Chattanooga.
Yeah, we're hoping to find a place soon. And it's so just little lessons like that every day. And plus we are we're going to the Everglades. We're seeing natural wonders. And when you want to create an environmentalist, what's the first step? It's really getting them to appreciate the natural wonders around them. So I love the fact that we can do that.
Now, Brad, a lot of people are going to watch this and say, you are my perfect guest on go2greentv.com because you bring... He's a writer, and Brad's a writer, and he covers both sports and green in his books. Talk a little bit about some of the books that you've written.
I write travel memoirs for adults, and I write children's books. So traveling with my children is perfect research. But my alphabet books, my first 7 alphabet books that I wrote for kids, which are these beautifully illustrated books from Sleeping Bear Press, which is located in Michigan. My first 7 books are about sports: baseball, football, golf, amazing moments, stock car racing, all sorts of things, soccer. But my 8th book is called S is for Save the Planet, a How to Be Green alphabet. And it's what families and kids can do in their daily lives, just little things you can do to help protect the planet. It's not meant for people who are already living in solar-powered huts. It's for people who live their lives, busy lives, and just want to know the things they can do every day to make a difference. There's a poem for each letter of the alphabet. For the younger readers, and then for the older readers, on the side of each page are what we call sidebars. So you have a poem for the younger readers, and then these sidebars for the older readers that give more information, greater detail about whatever the poem is about. So there's poems about little things like keeping the water turned off when you're brushing your teeth, and carpooling, and reducing, reusing, recycling. H is for helium balloons. When you have a balloon in your hand, don't let it go because the balloon often goes into the ocean or the rivers, and it loses its color, and the animals mistake it for food, and it hurts the animals. Little things like that. And it's great. I think it's important for kids to learn these things because, especially regarding the environment, kids are often leading the way. That this next generation, it's part of my kids. It's part of their childhood to recycle. For you and I, it was something we had to learn.
Right.
So they're leading the way. They can teach their parents. They can teach their teachers. And it's a beautiful book to boot. So.
Well, it's also really cool in that these books are really finding the low-hanging fruit out there. To so many Americans, this seems like it's above us. And so books like this really bringing it down and say there's little things that we can do every day. And you know what the little things do is that they change thinking. They create a new process, a new way of approaching things. And I think that's going to be our generation's greatest gift to these kids, is just that we help change thinking. For them, it becomes very automatic, and for us, we're still working at it.
Yeah, I tell you, I learned a lot writing this book. I'm a regular guy who tries to be green as much as I can in my life, but I'm not the extreme on the spectrum, and so I learned a lot just in writing this book, and so if that's possible, if someone like me who's actually motivated to actually write a book like this can still learn things, that shows that our generation, it wasn't ingrained in us from the beginning. But you're right, with the younger generation, if from the beginning they're learning this process, it becomes part of their habits. It's going to go a long way.
Well, he is Brad Herzog. I'm going to put a link to these books on our website and information to learn more about what Brad is doing and his family are doing here in this motorhome this summer. Such a great story. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It was fun. Thank you.
Yeah, well, and have fun in Chattanooga.
We will.
Cool. Thanks.